So it's like your natural, original state of being is spaciousness, is expansion. It's when you have pure peace, you have no worries, you don't have this tension in your chest, you just feel like you're just open. You don't feel like there's a border to you. You're open, peaceful, spacious. It's basically the very feeling that you're looking for when you, for example, smoke a cigarette, when you drink alcohol, when you're having sex, when you are entering into a relationship with the hope of it making you feel good. You know, whatever you do in the hopes of feeling good, that's exactly what your true nature is expansion. That's the feeling that you're looking for when you're doing these things. Now, when you're becoming identified with a certain form, with a certain name, with a certain image, then what happens is that the spaciousness itself seems to contract itself. And it is not just a, contracting in the mind, it's physically, it's a contraction. The very suffering you feel, the reason why people feel depressed, they feel angry, they feel down, they don't feel good, they go to a therapist because they want to get rid of that, but somehow it doesn't work. That very contraction that you feel in your body that feels like suffering, and I want to get rid of it, and therefore I do all these things, like for example, smoke weed, drink alcohol, take pills, to get rid of that feeling because it's making my life miserable. That's the very contraction. It is spaciousness, or it's just this openness itself, contracting itself, and therefore becoming limited. We could also say it's God choosing to become a little devil or Satan. It's like the two polarities. Because when you are when you're starting to suffer, that's when you naturally develop a certain desire to commit the 7 deadly sins in order to get a fake feeling of expansion. All right? Because you don't know how to help yourself. So because that contraction wants to survive, it doesn't want to melt back into spaciousness because it feels like death. It wants to have a certain relief, but it doesn't want to have a full relief. So it wants to have a little fake relief. Therefore, it commits those 7 deadly sins. And then it has a fake relief, but it's still in control. It's still there. It's still suffering. It needs to suffer. Suffering is contraction. It needs to suffer in order to stay alive. Now, if you truly are committed to return to your true nature, you need to be willing to die. Not you as a physical entity or body, but you as a psychological, contracted self-image. Which means you simply sit down somewhere and you basically allow the contraction to suffer, and you don't do anything about it. There's no method, because if you try to do something about it, that is the contraction itself trying to do something in order to get rid of the contraction. And so therefore it doesn't work. So if you feel like you're suffering and then you start to count your breath, then it can calm down to a certain extent, but you will never truly and actually fall back into your true nature, which is just this infinite expansion. You will stay a contracted self that has just adapted to this new technique, which is just counting breath. You'll stay contracted. Now, if you're just sitting somewhere without method and you just allow yourself to suffer, stay there, you allow yourself to suffer, or let's say even in a crowd where people are just looking at you in a weird way and you feel defensive, you just allow yourself to feel defensive, but you just see that it's happening and you don't do anything about it. You don't try to cope, you just see. There's like a contraction that is defensive. You just see that, and it's a good practice. So what happens is then, it's like an ice block that is just in the sun. And you just allow the sun to melt you. And it hurts. The contraction, it's like screaming. It's painful to actually just stay in stillness, to not have any methods or distractions, but you're like a ball of pain. you feel like you are that ball of pain, and then you just stay in the expansion, which is already there, by the way, which is the light that is shining onto the darkness, and then you just melt. And you melt, and you know when it hurts that it works. So it's like, and we could, just for fun, we could say that the contraction is Satan. Because people who are contracted, they are the ones who are causing all this misery. It's why there is war in the world. You can listen to some talks of Krishnamurti, who was talking about this. It's actually a very serious thing. But in non-duality, you would say that it's the Tao. We wouldn't even make a separation between expansion and contraction. Therefore, we wouldn't say God and Satan. We would say it's just the Tao that is appearing as both. It's all one. So there, it's like okay to be in your ego, because it's also God. Yeah. But if you really don't want to suffer anymore, if you want to feel fulfillment without having to chase things on the outside, to feel that fulfillment, you have to allow your contracted ego to melt back into its original nature. And then you will just have a natural fulfillment. You will no longer have the need to get this stuff from somewhere on the outside. You can still enjoy the things, but it wouldn't hurt if someone would take it away from you. It's just like whatever. See? All right.